Oh my God.
Yeah, that poor girl pulled it up in there.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh,
Well, I would expect that your New Year's did not start off the way that you had hoped it would. I know mine certainly didn't. Let's all say a prayer for those souls that were lost in New Orleans and for the families of those who lost loved ones and for those who are still fighting for their lives in New Orleans. Hi, I'm Dr. Ken Henry, and this is Conservative Commentary, where we spread the MAGA message. I'd like to ask you for a favor before we begin. If you would, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. This really does help us grow the channel and get the message out. And go over to youtube.com/@themagamessage and check out our other videos. Today, I'm humbled and angry, more angry than humbled. We've been let down. We've been let down on multiple levels from our government. Let's start with the leadership of the New Orleans Police Department. Not the brave officers that were on the street, and two of whom were shot exchanging fire with the terrorists. And I will not call the terrorists by name, neither one, neither the New Orleans terrorist or the Las Vegas terrorist. Those brave police officers risked their lives to save others, and they're to be commended. But to watch that police chief stand in front of the cameras yesterday and say, we had a plan, but the terrorists beat it, that is the tantamount to saying we didn't have a darn plan. Our plan was to leave cars parked so that somebody could drive a pickup truck onto Bourbon Street that's supposed to be blocked off, rather than pulling a cement truck or a dump truck or even another police car in front of the one that was parked where the terrorist made his ingress onto Bourbon Street. That was their plan. And they didn't have the, what are they called, bollards up, because they were in a state of disrepair, and they were trying to get them ready to go for the Super Bowl. Well, I guess the Sugar Bowl didn't count. Those are just excuses. I'm also angry with several levels of the federal government, beginning with the FBI, who look like buffoons. You know, they start out and they go, well, you know, it's a lone wolf, no accomplices. And then there were four accomplices who were, they thought, putting out the two IEDs that were contained in coolers. And then today, no, there are no accomplices. This was a lone wolf. There's no indication that he was aided by anybody. You know, what the hell are they doing? And where are they? And what's going on with our FBI? You know, you've got Christopher Wray, who just recently sat in front of Congress and said the threat level for all types of terror in the United States is extraordinarily high, maybe the highest he'd ever seen. But yet, we see this happen in New Orleans. I'm angry with the Homeland Security. Why in the world was this not discovered, this guy not discovered before? There had to be a pattern that was discernible in his behavior. And you can bet your bottom dollar that they have been monitoring social media. And if they haven't, they should have been. There supposedly were videos hours before the massacre that this guy released saying he was going to kill people. Where are they? What are they doing? So I'm angry at several departments of the federal government. You know, this is the same FBI and Department of Justice who are still chasing down people from February 6th, 4 years ago, and prosecuting them for walking into Congress, the building, the Capitol, and shooting pictures or video with their cameras. Where would we have been if we had taken those efforts and those resources and put them into counterterrorism here in the United States? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. But the third level I'm disappointed on is the American citizens who had to have seen something. His neighbors, his friends, his brother, and they didn't say anything. Now in Las Vegas, it's a different type of story where this guy drove in in a Tesla and had it loaded down with explosives and blew it up. A little more difficult to detect and stop than was the case in New Orleans, where there were all the signs and indicia. But now here's the thing. Both of these guys have a background in the Army. They both have an Army background. How did they get radicalized? The New Orleans guy had gotten divorced, was broke, and was really having bad financial problems. But, you know, the same day, both vehicles were EVs. Both were rented through this same online service. I'm not a big believer in coincidence. I believe there's a connection here. Now, the Las Vegas guy, the reporting is that he is an active member of the military who's stationed in Germany, where, as you know, they just had the Christmas market massacre with a vehicle, and was home on leave. What's going on in our society? Well, here's what we cannot do, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot give in. We cannot proceed in fear, because when we do, the terrorists win. And we're not going to let that happen. Take a look at this clip from Fox News and please share your thoughts in the comments.
As authorities try and figure out whether or not these two are connected, what questions do you still have that maybe those of us that aren't in law enforcement would not think to ask?
You're going to start looking at a timeline. When the truck was rented, if it puts it way before at other events, you can then look at, okay, if he left before the New Orleans happened, then it has to be coordinated if there was any coordination to it. But I think things may be stemming back to, in December, the attacks in Germany at the Christmas parades. And I think those may be triggering events. They might not be something that was coordinated and planned across the world, so to speak, but it gave people idea, like, I want to do something, and that's an idea. But they're also going to start looking at all these chats and these like Discord and Telegram groups. Was that rental car company ever mentioned as a way to easily rent cars? Because, and then they can start looking at, it's not just a coincidence they both rented it from there. Maybe that was something that ISIS put out. Like, if you need a rental car and you don't have to go through as much scrutiny, you can use this company. So then they're going to go back and start looking at that. Both prior military, did they ever serve together? Were they ever in some chat group for veterans that were having issues or problems or anything like that? They're going to try to put a connection between their social media, their phones, and every other account that they have to see if these two ever talk to each other in any way possible.
But Rob, does it even matter if they ever spoke to each other, if they were possibly a part of this cell? I mean, they could have just not even known each other. And go on.
Yeah, absolutely not. It doesn't matter. It could be like they both got radicalized at the same time. And if they're doing it under ISIS, we don't have any proof right now that the Cybertruck had any connection, like the ISIS flag. They're taking all his electronics. They're going to go search wherever he was living. They're going to pull all that stuff out to see if there's any connection. And even if there's not, there still may be something in there that ties them to this bigger plot. And that's what ISIS was known for. I always compared Al Qaeda to like IBM, very centralized control, that you had to get approval from the top. ISIS is like Uber. You slap a sticker on your car and you're doing it in the name of ISIS.